The KKK, also known as the Ku Klux Klan, is an American hate group, often targeting non-whites, Jews and Catholics. Created in 1865, the original Klan was created by a group of 6 Confederate veterans in Tennessee. They wore robes and masks, similar to that of Spanish priests during Easter, to hide their identities, while committing their actions at night. The first Grand Wizard of the Klan was Nathan Bedford Forrest, a popular Confederate general. Aiming to wreak havoc among the African Americans, the Klan soon became a popular anti-black group in the South. The original Klan had fallen and declined by the late 1800s, before a revival occurred in 1915. In Atlanta, Protestant nativists organized a revival of the Klan, inspired by the book The Klansman and the silent film, Birth of a Nation. Actions included the hangings of African American peoples, holding parades and rallies, as well as the burning cross, a symbol synonymous with the Klan. The Klan was further fueled by anti-communist sentiments after the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. At its peak in the 1920s, membership was roughly at 4 million.
And do you know anything much about the KKK or the Ku Klux Klan? The Ku Klux Klan?
No.
Okay, so do you know much about religious intolerance?
Religious intolerance?
Yeah. May I ask, what are your views on religious intolerance?
Religions, as for me, we don't bother about religions. Everything is equal. Everybody is human and everybody is equal. So what we want is, don't see the religions up and down. Even they are lower caste, no worries about that. We have to be equal.
And what do you think actually causes religious intolerance?
Religion, because of these so-called politicians and some fanatic. That's the thing cause everything.
Why do you think things like religious intolerance has existed for so long?
Because every time, every year comes, so there are new people coming up. So they intend to follow what the previous people left over.
And the KKK is a strong example of religious intolerance. What do you think of such groups that are aiming to spread violence?
Spread violence. These are the higher authority. They have to go through and see what is happening. Okay, so some like our country, there are a lot of messages going on WhatsApp and Facebook. So they should stop that first before going further. So we stop there, then the further thing will stop.
Do you think the KKK could actually be justified in any sense?
Actually, they can start to stop all these things first, because they are they got power to stop. So if they start to stop, then the people will follow.
What do you think about politicians and other influential people being religiously intolerant?
They the politicians, they have the higher person where they can come up with very good ideas. So we are the lower one, so we got low rights. Even we highlight about good
Do you know about
things.
the KKK and all that? Do you know about the KKK?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've not really read about it in depth.
What are your views actually on religious intolerance?
Religious intolerance should be abolished because everybody has the right to their religious beliefs and practices, and it should not be my decision or anyone else's decision to dictate.
And what do you think actually causes religious intolerance?
I think there's various opinions of individuals, like the disagreements that their religious beliefs cause.
Why do you think religious intolerance has actually existed for so long?
I think it started with the pre-system, because back then, in the earlier centuries, we had a lot of dominant, slavery and these systems still is present today, and it will continue. There's no change has happened, but it's not 100%, so it's still there.
So what do you think of these groups that aim to spread it through violence?
The groups such as the KKK should be I think they should be abolished, because it's religious indoctrination, like they abuse, like it's a sort of an abuse of power because they don't allow people to express themselves.
Do you think the KKK and other groups can actually be justified?
Well, back then when there was slavery, maybe they could adjust their actions, but with the new laws and the new policies in place, I don't think they can be justified what the actions have been doing. Like it's hurting and people, and everyone now has freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, and with these groups like that, it diminishes this kind of.
The KKK promoted a rise of right-wing conservatism in the 1920s, which can be correlated to the strong support for the Republicans during that time, resulting in the victory of the party up until Franklin Roosevelt was voted into office. This support, fueled by strong hate for communism often confused with the Democrats, dwindled during the Depression and the coming of the Second World War. Since their peak in the 1920s, the KKK has regressed into a shadow of its former self, only recently appearing in small numbers less than 9,000 and often allying themselves with other far-right extremist groups, such as the neo-Nazis. However, in this day and age of multiculturalism and strong liberal ideals overtaking the once proud constitutional values of the United States of America, it appears the continued decline of the KKK is all but certain. Henry Ford was the owner of the Ford Motor Company and became one of the wealthiest and most influential people in the 1920s. Besides being known for his wealth and his influence in the motor industry, Ford is also remembered today as an outspoken racist. He was anti-Semitic, meaning anti-Jew, and was outright in his admiration for Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime in Germany.
Okay, so do you guys know about the KKK? Okay, let me ask, what are your views on religious intolerance?
Actually, we don't need to like hate other people. Just to respect them.
Yourself.
Don't need to like them kick and hang them or.
What do you actually think like kind of causes religious intolerance?
Because Malaysia don't have stuff like every religion respect other. So we can.
Most of the time you do lah.
Yeah. So if we really go and hate people.
Why do you think these things, even though they're so bad, why do you think they've lasted for so long?
Because like they don't like them hurt, then they will feel happy.
So what do you think of such groups that are aiming to spread violence? Are they good? Are they bad? What do you think of them? Why they bad?
Because you can hurt other people without reason. Just you hate their color.
So do you think they can be justified because of their time period that they existed in?
I think they will be happy how like when I hurt the black people, all people will get happy, so they just support them.
So what do you think about like these famous people being very racist and intolerant?
It's
What
not
do
a
you
good
think?
example.
Yeah. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Henry Ford today is remembered as the owner of Ford Motors, one of the most well-recognized brands in the automobile industry. Yet we mustn't forget that sometimes, people from the past and even now aren't entirely good nor entirely bad people. Winston Churchill was a notorious racist, especially towards Indians, and Adolf Hitler's Germany had one of the world's most publicized anti-smoking movements. In today's world, the number of influential right-wing politicians has actually drastically increased. From Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro, who, according to him, would rather have a dead son than a gay son, to America's President Donald Trump, who refers to places such as El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, and numerous African countries as shitholes. Despite this, the omnipresent racial intolerance has existed for millennia and most likely will never cease to exist, and both the 1920s and the world of today are no exception to the vicious cycle of intolerance and injustice. The Silver Legion of America was founded by Hollywood screenwriter turned far-right politician William Dudley Pelley, a white supremacist, anti-Semitic group similar to Hitler's Sturmabteilung. Its members wore a uniform with a letter L over the heart to symbolize loyalty to the United States, liberation from materialism, and the Silver Legion itself. According to Pelley, the Legion's objectives were to establish a Christian commonwealth combining the principles of racism, nationalism, and theocracy, while excluding those of Jewish and non-white descent. He claimed he would save America from Jewish communists, just as Mussolini and his black shirts saved Italy, and as Hitler and his brown shirts saved Germany. Membership of the Legion numbered about 15,000 people, but in spite of its size it held quite an influence over ordinary Americans. Both working and middle-class whites saw Pelley's silver shirts as the answer to America's problems in the Great Depression. Pelley's policies favored a ban on immigrants, especially Jewish and Irish immigrants, and wanted to prevent them from even stepping foot in the United States. He tried to run for the presidency in 1936, but only won about less than 2,000 votes, which was far less than even the socialist and communist candidates. In spite of the meager turnout, Pelley's election campaign was nonetheless a violent one, as he launched an extensive countrywide campaign called the Silver Cavalcade, which saw mass rallies often marked by violence. This violence continued even after the elections, with silver shirt meeting after silver shirt meeting ending in riots against the incumbent government. Pelley's Legion came to a rather disgraceful demise when the Japanese launched an attack on Pearl Harbor. Not only was he forced to dissolve the Silver Legion, but California State Police had also took over the Legion's HQ. With his dream of morally upright and fascist America turned to dust, Pelley found himself spending his last days battling the federal government in court, and died at the age of 75 in 1965. Overall, the Legion's legacy today largely remains confined to the realm of alternate historical popular media from books to games. In works depicting a fascist America, Pelley is a popular choice as head of state given his views on totalitarianism. But besides a few pieces of fiction, the Silver Legion is insignificant in the world of today.